Get ready, boys and girls. Be a good one.
I think so.
Pretty excited. I think it calls for.
That's really, really early in the broadcast for that. Holy crap.
You gotta get it done.
All right, boys and girls, we're here. It's time for some record talk. We're talking about some records. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Wednesday evening. It's raining like a mother here in New York. What's it like in Chicago and Arizona?
Windy and nice, man.
It was beautiful yesterday. Day before too, right? Yeah, it's 2 days before today in a given week.
I got 70 and sunny. I'm good.
Mid-50s.
No one asked.
You did.
Yes, you did.
Damn. Like literally 30 seconds ago.
Oh, let's go, baby. Let's go.
Oh, it's happening.
That's not the one. There's the one. Let's just get right to it.
Got me all hyped.
Is my boomstick.
Yes.
Well done.
What are we
This is an
drinking?
interesting remix.
Did I inspire you with the perimeter screwheads comment before on
I
text?
pressed the wrong button, but yes, thank you. Yellow means boomstick. Red means. How you guys doing today? We didn't even say hello proper before we said what's in the glass. I apologize.
No,
Doing
that's
good,
all
man.
good.
Yeah, doing good. It's been a good day.
Yeah, it was a pretty good day.
You know, when you put us live, it was throughout the whole countdown. It said live. Normally, it doesn't say live. Does it always say that? Or did I...
You know what? Because I'm always afraid because audience, be aware. 2 times we have started this show and had what we would call not like the Jane's Addiction or season finale lost episodes, but like genuine like magic that we're not live for.
Yeah.
I'm so nervous that the second I hit the countdown, I press the go live button. So somewhere between 25 and 20 seconds, it starts being live. Today, it just clicked right away for some reason.
Gotcha. So just all of us just sitting there like this.
Yeah.
Note to self: don't pick your nose during the interim.
Yeah, there's some weird lapse there. It happened in my interview earlier today too. We're like drinking and it's like, and then it started. But yeah.
Find out tomorrow morning.
Right. Hello, Dylon. How are you?
Dylon.
You guys ever have one of those moments, real quick, Rob story here. So I'm trying to figure out how to build something on the internet, a web store of sorts. And I couldn't figure out like how to link it to stuff. And I was getting so mad. And then I finally, yeah, I know, right? Patient of a gnat.
Out of character completely.
You know, like screaming and yelling and like, I'm here alone. So like, I mean, basically like cursing, like the worst of the worst. And then I finally figured out how to do it. And I was so proud of myself. My first, like I'm sitting at a desk and my desk has my laptop and the screen and all the cameras and the lighting and just a lot of technology and a wall in front of me with the dry erase board. And my first emotion was when I succeeded at the goal was I wanted to flip the desk over. And it took, I'm not even joking, everything that I am made of to direct the energy. And I turned behind me. I just yelled and kicked at the air. But that's what I wanted to. Is that normal? Like, do I need help?
Yeah. Yeah, like a lot.
Celebration, destruction.
Most likely.
I totally respect
destruction.
like I totally respect the excitement and the satisfaction of having accomplished a goal, but no. No, man.
I didn't. So what are you drinking?
I can tell.
James? What do you got?
I only have a glass of water tonight. And that's just because I'm going to try and make sure my immune is in tip-top shape before Sunday.
All right.
Right on.
Oh yeah, I should probably. Oh yeah, good call. All right. And Brian,
no blood thinners before you go.
There's my second one. Whatever.
Still, no blood thinners before you go.
What's a blood thinner? What do I have as a blood thinner? Alcohol is a blood thinner, I guess.
Hello.
Alcohol, any NSAIDs, Tylenol, Advil, that kind of stuff. I would just avoid altogether. I'll be over here.
Yes, Dylan, it is. And it's fantastic. Demo coming soon.
What's he talking about?
This guitar behind me is like the new hot shit thing that just came out last week.
Oh, look at you. Good.
It does chug. Ola confirmed.
It's really cool. I've played the Strat version, and I'm Rob. Twice had the Telly version and sold it. But the Jazzmaster one's really cool.
I'm Rob.
It's the worst.
Brian, what are you drinking tonight?
Just seltzer, man. Tangerine. in my sweet Pac-Man glass.
Change colors.
No, not this one's from like the 80s, dude. This is from what year is that? The year on it? 1980.
Did they not
Evening
have the
Blinky.
color change technology then?
Back to black and white TV still.
Not just on your clothing. Remember the clothing, and if you put it in the dryer, it ruined it. It doesn't change colors anymore. Or freaky freezy gloves. Remember those freaky freezers?
No.
What? Am I showing my age? Damn it!
I mean,
Dude,
I
they were
still
thick gloves.
I
They were
still
like
have
ski
Garanimals,
gloves,
so I mean,
and they had like all the different things of the 80s, and like they had like this just blank side, and it had like an image, and then when it got cold, other things would appear.
Oh yeah.
I got
Freezers,
you.
right? Or freaky
Yeah.
freezies or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
put them in
wow.
the freezer. I just like when it was cold outside, it would change, like winter gloves.
No, they're called
Yeah, I used to
freaky
use them in the
freezers.
snow.
Yeah, they're in the snow when it's cold outside. They're called
Yeah.
freaky freezers.
It's such an 80s thing, you know, like
Hell
nothing
yeah.
Wow.
ever happen now. Kids be like, this is dumb. Where do you plug it in? Like, no, you just color. Like,
I don't know.
It
my
doesn't have a
kids would totally
thingy that
dig it.
that I can use a touch screen with. What the hell?
all these fingers don't work. Well, in my glass is a new flavor of the Zoa Rock Energy drink. This is the Super Berry, which is highly superior to the coconut one I had the other day. And this is the no sugar kind. So instead of 30 grams of sugar, this is just a
Was it Super Berry?
Super Berry. Yeah. Yeah. And I think Super
What does
Berry.
it taste like?
Blue
Flavors.
raspberry.
Blue raspberry.
Blue raspberry, yeah. And it's blue in color.
Nice.
If you can see that.
Oh, yeah,
Does it have a fake sugar taste?
No,
Or does it
doesn't.
subvert it?
So I think the thing is, and this is sucralose, I think, which is like Splenda.
That's a lot of taste profile, flavor profile.
But
Words. There we go.
sucralose doesn't beat me up the way like aspartame. Like I just hate that.
Yeah.
And like stevia, that I don't bother me much. Sucralose is hit or miss. I think just based on comparison, that like a Red Bull, which is also sucralose, I believe, or a sugary Red Bull and a sugary one of these are so freaking sweet that even though this is a different kind of sweet, it's so much less abrasive, even though it's a little chemically. Because it's an energy drink, they're all chemically, you know.
Yeah.
But the other one was just disgustingly sweet.
Wow.
It's
All right.
disgustingly sweet.
Yeah,
Well, now that we've gotten that out of the way, guys, what are we talking about tonight?
Alice in Chains. FaceLift, baby. 1990.
Oof.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, you get the vinyl to this guy. All right.
Of course, you got the vinyl.
Debut album.
You did say like last week that you had bought the vinyl just for today.
Correct.
You did. Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah, I have on vinyl the double, an original press of Sap and Jar of Flies.
You have an original pressing of Sap.
It's Sap and Jar of Flies is a double album. That's how they put it on vinyl.
Oh, so it was kind of a repressing because it was originally released.
Well, I guess when Jar of Flies came out, they put it as that. I guess that's.
Oh, okay, got it. All right.
But this stuff, like I don't know how you can find the originals of this on vinyl. But this is a great album. Like this was, for me personally, like going into this one, this was the first time in quite some time on this special program we share together as gentlemen. That I was super familiar with the whole majority of the record and loved it.
Cool.
Good night.
Been good, guys.
I can say that I knew a lot of the singles from this record and some of the non-singles, but I wasn't intimately familiar with the entire thing. I don't think I only own an Alice in Chains greatest hits,
Right.
personally. But in listening to this, I have more notes for this than I did any other thing that we've ever done. I think listening to this album is like listening to a greatest hits.
It feels like that. Good songs are on here,
Yeah, and in listening to it, I was expecting to hear other songs. I feel like they, as a band, kept their sound very uniform throughout their trajectory. Like it never really changed dramatically. Like they have a lot of interesting stylistic things that they do, and this whole album shows an incredible amount of diversity in their sound.
Yeah.
But the stuff that I have a lot to say about this album. The stuff that sounds purely like Alice in Chains always sounded like Alice in Chains throughout their career. Does that make sense?
Does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, to me, this is what did it for me. I got into them from this album the second I heard, man, the box I was in. But I would agree with you. Like, it doesn't. it's not an even flow of the album. Like you said, a greatest hits. It feels more like a conglomerate because there is a lot of different sounds going on here that aren't atypical of Alice in Chains per se in subsequent albums. There is, like you said, those stylistic things, but I feel like this one was a little bit different from all the other albums that came after this, excluding the acoustic albums. Obviously, there's going to be a big difference to that, but yeah, it's an interesting album for sure, and you can hear a lot of different influences in there, and in this early record.
I think it'd be good today. I know we haven't done this in a while, but we could probably start to go song by song because there's so many amazing songs. And maybe just to tie a quick thread from this week to the Oasis record, here's another band from the same decade that had so many iconic, timeless songs. I'm pretty sure that anytime you flip on a radio somewhere across that day, you're going to hear Man in the Box. It's somewhere in there. It's just a really, really big song. I think what made this band so special is the musicianship and the vocals. Like, I'm accused frequently of when elevating something, I have to demean something else. So please forgive me if that's how it comes across. I think 90% of the people out there who could pick up a guitar and just sing in key could get through Wonderwall or Champagne Supernova. I think a very small percent of the population could approach something like Man in the Box and accurately sing just the lead line, forget having a second singer / guitarist who's going to do the harmony lines. So the musicianship, virtuosity of this band, not even talking the rhythm section yet, just in the Lane Jerry dynamic with the funny harmonies and the range of these guys as singers. And everyone thinks Lane, but Jerry is a powerhouse in his own right. Mm-hmm. That's something really, really special that of all maybe these 90s grunge bands, that these guys had carved out a space that no one could touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
And to that point, it's funny you say that, because I agree with you completely that there's a level of proficiency going on here that you don't, and the whole band, not just isolated to Lane and Jerry, even though they're fantastic, obviously, the whole band has a great sound. I think this whole album has great, you can hear bass really well, which sometimes gets lost. This has a very definitive bass sound. It has a great drum 90s sound. Yeah, exactly. But everything sounds really good. That's not what I'm getting at here. If you go to the first song, which we may as well get started, if that's cool with you guys, the first song isn't overly technical in any way. It's like a case in point of a less is more kind of guitar riff. There's nothing too fancy about the entire song. Isn't overly complex musically, right? But it's executed masterfully. Like it's perfect.
Yeah, and what Rob brought up earlier about their voices. Lane is a tenor, but not so uncommon. But it's the way in which he, is able to achieve that range, and then lyrically, because he enunciates so well. Like there's no garble. Like he really gets his story across. The lyrics bring you right in. Like you said, it's not very complex, but overall, when you put it all together, it just hits you, and you're sucked in. It's a great opening track. And this wasn't even my first introduction to the band. The first introduction was Man in the Box. That's how I heard about them.
I mean, that's just, again, for what they do, that's not maybe the hardest, but that's a sick riff. And they're so lower too. Like it almost sounds wrong.
Yeah.
In standard tuning, even though drop D, like it should be lower than that. But to come right out of that. I mean, that right there is one of the heaviest, just chugging on E. It's not. All right, yeah.
Well, it's the whole big band picture of it too.
Right.
That the drums are supporting the guitar in a way that makes it work perfectly, and that gives it that weight and that drive. And Lane's vocals and Jerry's harmony on top of it, like pulls the whole thing together in a really, really amazing way. That it becomes more than the sum of its parts.
Well said. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan said, I don't think I've ever heard Man in the Box. Going to listen to it now. Oh, wait, I've heard it before. I was like, okay. I was like, Dylan, if you haven't heard Man in the Box, man, you need to do some serious rock homework.
He heard it at Chili's or Moe's. Man in the Box is big at the Southwest. Tex-Mex in the box.
Oh man.
But that's The first time I had heard that song, that was I think that was like the first time that I heard what I kind of associated with like the Seattle grunge sound.
Yeah, there's grunge.
More than anything else at the time. Like Soundgarden was it like Soundgarden?
I think. See, I
STP,
disagree.
all
I don't
that.
think.
I think Alice in
associate them
Chains
with
really
grunge.
defined the gritty grunge.
Well, they were a heavy metal band. I mean, they're
Yes.
Pantera and stuff in the beginning.
So I don't
Yeah.
think of them as
They were
as grunge. I think of more as heavy metal. I think they get lumped into it because of the time frame. And there is like the grittiness, but punk and certain hardcore acts have a grittiness to them too, and certain glam rock. When you look at early Guns N' Roses, had that attitude. There's a little bit of glam to it, but there was a lot of attitude and grit to it. So I think for them, they're more sludge metal, heavy metal, alternative metal to a degree, what some people would call. They're dark though, and that's why I hesitate to say like that they're not heavy metal or like sludge metal. I mean, the lyrics of this is amazing. Wrote it on the way to rehearsal about kids that were like 9 through 12 years old selling drugs and doing all sorts. This is something that Jerry witnessed just in his talent. So this is like it's heavy lyrics, which is a lot of Alice in Chains lyrics. Just these heavy stories.
I like in listening to this record as a cohesive unit, and there's dark songs, Love, Hate, Love. I mean, just heavy, dark songs.
Oh yeah.
But I feel if you were to compare their whole original group of material, this album, the 2 EPs, and then Dirt and the self-titled, this is definitely a happier record compared to where they go.
Yes.
Which is weird to say if you listen to this one, but it's definitely
Especially when we did Jar of Flies, which is an all acoustic album, and that was wow, man. That would bring you to tears at times. You're like, woo, okay, it's not what you associate with an acoustic album, but damn.
In listening to this, because I think like James, my first Alice in Chains album was probably the greatest hits that came out when they came out with that box set.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was like the best of the box or something.
Yeah.
And then I got the box set for Christmas. So I got to hear a lot of these songs on FaceLift as these weird demo versions. So that was like, I heard that there's like Rodeo Star and other songs that were before this, a different version of Bleed the Freak. And then I, from Tapeville, I got Dirt and FaceLift, and that's how I kind of heard these songs. But now listening to it, many years later in order without on shuffle, which, because if anything you take out of what I just said, don't listen to stuff on shuffle. Listen to the record in order. There's a reason usually.
Yeah.
This album just punches you in the mouth, literally from track 1, in my opinion, till the end of track 8.
Did you buy this? Did you buy those subsequent albums used in the used section, or did you buy them brand new?
Used.
I know, it's so cool having that used
It was
section.
great for that. I mean, I everything used there. I still.
How come that's not illegal? But when you steal music through Napster, it was illegal.
I'm pretty sure it was illegal.
No kidding, but like there's no breakdown of that.
There, bootlegs are illegal to begin with, and there's
a
store collecting tax on bootlegs.
Oh yeah.
Well, there was nothing illegal about
Wild
putting a
West.
tape in your radio and hitting record and just recording a song off the radio.
I know that's why it's such a big deal. But like it's been going on forever. Forever.
The only thing was then you had to sit in front of the radio and expect to record something versus now they could just be like boop and get exactly what you want.
Pray that someone in the background didn't disrupt your recording process.
Oh yeah.
They have DJ talking over it. Dude, forever. I had this tape of Perfect Drug when it first came out, and the guy talked through like the whole intro until he started singing.
I remember this.
Awesomeness, but I'm like, you son of a come on, Kane.
I know.
Come on, Kane.
Or you're like super in the zone with the song, and it goes, like a lot of Nails songs or like even Metallica songs will end with like these elongated endings. They don't just abruptly end. It's beautiful.
Wherever I May
in
Roam.
The vein of it. Yeah. And then like they would just cut it off. You're like, what are you doing?
Or no,
I
like
was in
wherever with Wherever I May Roam specifically, they would just start talking over like the fade out. The fade out on that song is like 30 seconds long, and they would just start talking from the minute like the last bar hits in the last chorus.
It's like someone interrupting a concert. We're like, all right, everybody, come on, push chairs. It's time to go. Neatly outside.
Sometimes you run through your mind like maybe we were spoiled compared to our parents, but the kids today don't know. As a music fan,
You sound like such an old man all the time.
It's all three of us in this case, though.
Come on. Like, oh, the song came out at midnight. I just grabbed my phone and then downloaded it 12:01 Friday morning. I don't have to go drive to the tower to go buy it for $8 to $22.
Did you download it, or did you have it on pre-order from the iTunes store or something, so it just appeared on your phone as soon as it released?
Oh, Apple Pay.
It's been on your phone since the minute you pre-ordered it, but it only unlocks at that time.
Right. It's just mocking you as the icon the whole time prior.
Oh man, 1201. I'm gonna listen to you.
Oh man.
Something you had mentioned, Rob, the that Best of the Box album. That was the first time I had heard "We Die Young," having just been familiar with like the songs that got like frequent radio play, and the version of that on that album or on that Greatest Hits was a demo version.
Yeah,
and I think the demo version is better than the album version.
I feel the same way about, I think, Bleed the Freak, same thing, which was
really,
yeah.
How do you feel about "We Die Young"? Do you agree or disagree?
I don't remember.
I don't particularly care. I'm just curious.
I don't remember, honestly. I got to double check now to go back.
Yeah,
my biggest takeaway, I know this, we're supposed to be talking about this, but my biggest takeaway from that box set was Fear the Voices was a song that was on the box set, and it's not on.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's a good one.
Now I got to dig that up. I've been listening to this exclusively.
That's streaming either. Anyway, all right, next song, I guess, as I look up Fear the Voices.
Are we on Man in Box? Or are we in? Yeah, we were talking about first actually Man in the Box. There's a freaking talk box in this. There's a talk box in a heavy metal album. When's the last time you could say that happened? You know what I mean? It's like, damn.
It's pretty infrequent, that the use of that device. It's just not found in this type of music very often.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bon Jovi counts. I don't think Bon Jovi.
I remember, you know what's amazing about Man in the Box is hearing this on the radio and being like, whoa, and then finally seeing the video and seeing who Lane was. It's always cool to see that. Like when you hear a certain voice and then you see the person like, wow, I did not expect that, you know? For some reason, he took me back. I just didn't expect that, you know, tall, lanky dude in that voice, you know? I just did not expect that. I was like, wow. Yeah. So it took me back. Yeah, Man in the Box is what sold it for me. I was in it to win it from that moment on. I was like, oh, I just love the sound. I loved what they were doing musically. Lyrically, just some great heavy stuff in that, you know?
There's nothing safe. Best of the Box is what you're talking about, James.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, Fear the Voice is fine because the box set isn't on this damn internet machine.
Is it on Nothing Safe? Because I have that.
It's not. Right here. It's only on the actual box set.
Gotcha.
I have to dig now out of storage tomorrow.
I remember that's like kind of like a tangent. The most fun part of that for me was that it came in an orange see-through case. It was like a fluorescent orange that glowed with black light.
Yeah.
That was a big deal for me at the time.
I remember that. I do remember that. Yeah. Oh man. Sea of Sorrow.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to get into Sea of Sorrow. I mean, this is where you really get a feel for like you were saying earlier about being a virtuosity Cantrell. I can't no concept of time apparently.
We've lost Brian.
Anyway, it's so bluesy, and then he's got like this wailing like lead work that he's doing in the background, and it just all comes like crashing together, and you're like, it's not what you expect. Rob was just giving you a taste of the two songs in the beginning. Like you have a very heavy album, and then boom, Sea of Sorrow comes as the third track that comes in. Think about that. Like it shouldn't work, and it does. It works perfectly. It's not like when we were talking about Use Your Illusion, like we could have juxtaposed these differently. Like Garden of Eden, that was terrible placement. You know, like forever. But this, no, it's amazing.
So for me, Sea of Sorrow kind of triggered something while I was listening to this, and I noticed it more and more as I was going. I listened to this album a lot.
Flare Up?
Huh?
You said it triggered something. I said flare up. Bad joke. Sorry.
Incidentally, I got cortisone injections for that thing on my wrist to try and get it to go away, and I had an allergic reaction to the Band-Aid.
Is that what I'm seeing when I hold your wrist up? Are you seeing it? Hold it up.
No, it's buried in here somewhere.
I saw a shadow in the center of your wrist. I'm like, dude, that's like a golf ball. But
I thought so too. I was like, oh god, it's a lot worse than he said it was.
We should be paying more attention to James's life.
Tangent, but they said that I lucked out having it here. If it were over here, it would have been surgery without a doubt. Over here, they said they could just stab me with a needle a bunch of times and it would go away in a couple days.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
So no surgery for the moment.
All right, good.
But like in listening to it, I would be, like at work and doing stuff and listening and like, this sounds like something. And then the next song would come on and be like, well, this sounds like something too. And then the next song would come on and like, oh, this verse sounds like something. Oh, this chorus also sounds like something. And I started hearing other songs in all of these songs to the point that I started having to do a ton of research because I was kind of like, it was like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? That I started wondering, like, was Alice in Chains inspired by these bands? Were these bands inspired by Alice in Chains? Or did it happen all at the same time and it's a big accident? And it ended up being a little bit of all of these things. I couldn't correlate whether or not like a band was influenced or they were influenced one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I could say that a lot of this stuff that I heard all happened in the same time period. So there's no way band A was influenced by band B. It just is a coincidence. But in the case of Sea of Sorrow, my favorite part of the song, like the beginning of the song, like the guitar part playing in the beginning kind of like gave me this old school Doom vibe, like old Doom metal kind of a thing. And then when the drums come in, when everything kicks up, the drums are really, really pulled back. And like the first verse of the song is a very different animal from the rest of the song. Am I out of line in saying this?
No.
Anyway, okay. I heard the thing that should
intently,
not be in that verse because of the way the drums are pulled back and thing that should not be. And it was almost the same drum part
Interesting.
when I listened to them back and forth. And as soon as I started making these kinds of connections, it sort of became a challenge as to like, can I pinpoint where certain things came from or what I heard in certain things?
Yeah.
So I have a lot of commentary on what I heard in this album.
Awesome. Nice.
But this ended up, I imagine we would get there at some point or another, but I'll just blow up my own spot. This was my favorite song.
Really?
Sea of Sorrow?
Yeah. The more I listened to it, the more I was like, the chorus is super, super brutal. The verses are awesome. Like all of the parts are incredible. I loved everything about it. It was a song I kept going back to over and over and over again to keep listening to. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
I have two favorite songs.
What are they?
Not one of them.
What are they?
Should I wait till we get there or just say them?
Doesn't matter. You can surprise
It's,
us, man.
It Ain't Like That and Bleed the Freak, my two favorites.
That's why I was just gonna say the next one's my favorite, Bleed the Freak. I love how deeply hollow sounding Lane's voice is in the song, and as harrowing as it is, it's yet so warm in its delivery that it just brings you into the song, and it has some, pretty deep lyrics, so it adds gravity to it. It really just brings you in this gentle way, but like once you're in it, you're like, damn, it's an all surrounding, and it's just got a catchy groove, and it's just awesome, man. Jerry Cantrell wrote in that the music bank, the box set in the liner notes said the song is us against the world, those people who put us down. I put up with many years of you putting us down and watching us bleed. Now I like to see you all bleed some back. I was like, wow. It always stuck with me. I remember that in the liner notes. I was like, yeah, right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Still looking for Fear the Voices. Bothering me. Seeing if I can buy it on iTunes.
I wish we could play these songs. Bleed the Freak just has
know.
a great iconic sound to it. It's got it really, like you said, James, it encapsulates the sound that they kind of kept consistent, and they kind of, change things here and there. But you found it?
And I bought it.
Ding!
Apple Pie.
Yeah.
Bleed the Freak is just a sick ass song, man. It's a different feel for them, and the way it comes in, and just like I like how the dichotomy of the voices in the chorus, where there's a lower voice, and that's just super eerie. I think you're playing off what you just said, but man, that's just a great song.
It really is. It really is.
What do you guys think? I can't remember.
Well, that solo at 2 minutes, like 2.5 minutes in, is one of my favorite qualities about Jerry as a guitarist. How he can inject solo work or accent work with his guitar within a piece, but it just comes out of left field, man. Like you don't expect that to come into what they've already, established for those 2 minutes prior. Like you don't expect it. He just comes at you, and you're like, wow, that shouldn't work. Damn it.
Jerry is like, I don't know, like if you listen to him within the band, he comes across as maybe super somber and serious, but then you watch him in like Cribs or like those shows, he seems super goofy.
Oh, he's a
Yeah.
goofball,
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
It's
like
weird.
at the same, like I met him at the NAMM show 2 times casually, like not like any sort of a conversation, unlike the Mike Inez story, which we should tell later, James, if you remember. You don't, you have to.
I'm sure I'll remember it. I just need my memory jogged.
So Jerry was at the Gibson booth wearing a dirt t-shirt and sunglasses inside. And I'm like, excuse me, can I, just shake your hand? And he's like, I'm looking at this guitar. Wait a second. I'm like, okay. I just stood there. He looked at every Les Paul in the place. And at the end, he was like, all right, come here. And then we took a picture. And it was just like, so like, screw off, kid, But he had a dirt t-shirt on. I was like, you're wearing your own shirt. That's so cool. Like, I wear cool music shirts every day. So I guess I learned from Jerry. That's okay.
Little self-advertising here.
What's up, Tom?
The first time I ever saw anything about this band was, I think it was like, it might have been a Cribs thing. It couldn't have been. It was, I think it was a Headbangers Ball and like an Alice in Chains Headbangers Ball takeover.
Dresses, right? Aren't they in? Is that Nirvana? Never mind. Sorry.
I don't remember, but I do distinctly remember somebody pushing Jerry into a pool and him yelling, "Oh my gosh, my hair!"
That was a Headbangers Ball. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my fondest memory of Alice in Chains. Because I laughed so hard. It was just very, very funny to me.
Shit.
What do you guys think of I Can't Remember?
I like it a lot. I love the riff.
We just you asked the same question twice about the same song.
I don't think we answered them. I think we deviated. But I loved the
Really?
I got a lot of Mindcrime vibes.
I can remember.
I got a lot of Mindcrime vibes from the clean arpeggio part. That made me really, really happy.
Seattle connection there.
Yeah,
exactly. And like, again, like that was what had me thinking, like, was there just around this whole time period, was there just something in the air that this is what, just if you were a guitar player and you were talented, this is what happened?
Well, you knew Jerry and DeGarmo, they're friends because he was in a solo band. So maybe they
right.
were and then Chris DeGarmo and Mike Inez had a separate band, Spies for Darwin, down the road. So there may be a big community there.
I think there is. And on top of that, I made the arpeggio connection, remembering that I think Jerry was in the studio recording something and DeGarmo had come to a different room in the studio and was doing something else. And as soon as Jerry knew he was there, he's like, I need you to play a part on this because I can't do it.
Nah.
And it was like some crazy, like twisted, like spider chord.
Yeah, it was. What was that? I know that story. Yeah.
But he basically, like, that's Chris DeGarmo's contribution, is just him playing an arpeggio, a clean arpeggio, that Jerry Cantrell was like, I know this guy would be able to do it perfectly. So it was just interesting to like make that connection there too. And the main riff in the verse, it's going to sound ridiculous. And I had to go back and check it because it stuck out in my head so much. You guys ever hear the Janet Jackson song, Black Cat?
No.
This riff, the single note passage that he plays, was incredibly reminiscent of that song. It's very, very interesting. I would encourage you both to go check it out. And that's a great Janet Jackson song too. They're not like, it's not a waste of your time, but it was. I went
Janet Jackson, Black Cat.
I went in trying to listen to I Can't Remember, and I ended up like just again, it was just further like dissolution in my brain that I started just making these connections.
James the Heretic strikes again.
What did I do?
It's a great Janet Jackson song. Quote James Harashi. What? That's not a sentence I thought you'd ever say. There's anything wrong with your
not in a million years.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
that's awesome.
I thought somebody commented that. I'm like, wow, I guess I'm infamous at this point.
No, you're dude. I think over the course of Record Talk, you're really starting to peel away your layers, and we're getting to learn. Like I've known you, for the vast majority of my life.
Pushing 30 years.
Yeah, stop it. And in conversations like this, it's like, wow, like, cool.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to keep everybody surprised.
Oh, yeah. Tom's impressed. Tom says, wow.
Which
Tom?
Hey, Tom.
Shout out to Tom Bazzani getting my laptop working, helping me with all my technology. And then I said something very inappropriate because I'm on a Zoom call and he's at work and he's in a room with other people, but he has a headset on. So I'm talking about like crapping in my hands and throwing it at the bully that's picking on his son. And then a woman walks by giggling. I'm like, Tom. And he's like, it's fine. I'm like, she can hear me. Why did you what are you doing?
That's a great story.
Typical Tom. Oh, I didn't tell you the curtain's down. Sorry.
It's like, dude, you're gonna get fired. What am I doing? And like, you know me, like I'm going off. Like I if anyone messes with my kid or my friend's kids, I'll literally take your life. I don't care where you are. So I'm like, I'm getting mad because Tom is just beautiful kids. And I'm like, Anyway, okay, Love, Hate, Love.
This is one of the longest songs on the record, and it's a dark and brooding. It just hammers on, and it's not one of those ones that's so heavy. Like I can only listen to this every once in a while. Like once it's on, you're like, I gotta listen to it. Like it hooks you in. Like
A long one though. It is. You're right.
it is a long one.
But it doesn't drawl or anything like that.
No, it doesn't
Like,
drag on at all.
It's not difficult to listen to for being a longer song.
It's interesting lyrically. It's sung from the perspective of a sociopath. It's really cool. You know, sociopaths aren't cool, but it's cool how he did that. He wrote from the, from the vantage point of a very sick person like that. And it's like, wow. So he's not always singing about things like, addiction and some of the, but he does pick on these really interesting things to write about and different perspectives of writing from, those perspectives. It's cool. It's a great song.
Did you see, Brian? I think it was on my personal page. Joe Fallon shared a live version of Love, Hate, Love from like this era of the band.
No kidding.
Yeah, I'll link it up so we can put it on Record Talk. But it's just so cool to see because like Lane was a chameleon. Like every record, he was a different guy.
Oh yeah,
and just maybe I'll just do that. I don't know, but like dreaded, grimy, grungy Lane on this thing, all the way to like slick back hair and the bug glasses kind of thing at the end. So it's cool. It's a good song.
For my own edification, because I didn't get it because I was clearly listening to what I listened to. Does Lane write everything, or is it like a collaboration between him and Jerry typically?
No, it's collaboration for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if you look in the so in the liner notes, so like Man in the Box, Jerry Cantrell gets music credit, Lane gets the lyrics. Sea of Sorrow, We Die Young, that's music and lyrics, Jerry. I can't remember. Lyrics, Lane and Jerry, music, Jerry. So Jerry seems to get a lot of the musical credit, but I guess they're sharing lyrical credit along the way.
Yeah, through a lot of the albums, it's always been that way.
And then you get It Ain't Like That. Lane is nothing on that. It's music, Cantrell, Starr, and Kinney. So I like that though.
Yeah, it's funny that you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just, I was going to say it's interesting.
It's funny because like just those couple songs that you mentioned and the people, like the personnel behind them, I feel like you can hear the difference when it's something that Lane did solely and when Jerry was involved with it. It's very different animals lyrically. It's
such a crime, that Lane's not here anymore because Jerry's solo stuff, maybe Jerry would have never had solo stuff if there wasn't, his singer wasn't messed up on drugs and eventually not alive. But I'd be curious what solo Lane stuff would have sounded like. Because the Mad Season record he did with Mike McCready, and like that was cool stuff, So,
great. Yeah.
I don't know what would have happened.
Another one of those amazing artists that I think he'd still be pumping out things, whether it was with Alice in Chains or doing it on his own, or kind of a combination of things. It would have been interesting to see.
I think it's important to point out because I do want to close out this record, and there's much left to talk about. But I think this is a band that I'm just trying to see their discography here. So they had Facelift, Dirt, Sap, Jar of Flies, and then the self-titled with this incarnation. Then Blue Gives Way to Black, Devil Put Dinosaurs Here, and Rainier Frog. So they're like, in terms of full-length records, they're now tied with Lane stuff. And
did you say Rainier Frog?
Did I say it wrong?
Yeah, you did.
How do you say it?
Isn't it Rainier Frog, not Frog?
Yeah, come on. I gotta correct me. I want to start
I'm
correcting.
so sorry. Oh, okay, we can't bust balls. I'm sorry. My bad. Can you crap on very specific people? No. Okay. Good. Sorry.
I'm the crapper. I always thought it was Rainier Frog. Seriously, like up until just as you corrected me, and I like when you were correcting me, I was like, "You idiot! No, I'm the idiot."
You're a wizard, Harry.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Gosh, yeah. So it's like it's cool that like they were able to have this second life, and the stuff with William, like those records are good too. So it shows the power of the core of the band with this new singer. But
very much like Van Halen, like you said last week. They're different, like because when you watch William sing old older catalog stuff, it's not in the same vein
Right.
as Lane at all. And even with having Jerry do the harmonies, it's not the same, and it's not bad. It's just it can't be replicated the same way. So they've kind of become like the Hagar era, you know. So it's a different era of this band, but it's still a cool, like you said, it's still a great band.
I think there's a typo on there. I thought that record was Rainier Frog.
Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was Rainier Frog.
You're right. You're totally right.
Am I? I was gonna say
Yeah,
I thought it was Rainier
no.
Frog.
Yeah.
Nice.
So It Ain't Like That. How do we feel about
What
that?
movie that was in?
Singles.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So that's where I heard that song first, because
Same. I heard it first time with you watching Singles.
and then I think I argued with you, and I'm like, it's not on FaceLift. They think it is, or Drew, or someone, maybe Drew, probably,
Drew.
but you can't win an argument against him. But
Nope.
Although I think he didn't even have to lawyer you on that one. He just knew.
He told me it was Rainier Frog.
Don't blame this on Drew.
Nice. You never win an argue with him. I'm gonna throw him under the bus.
I'm gonna get sued tomorrow.
Man,
I love that song. That's just such a clever riff.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to Man in the Box, like Down the Road and the arpeggiated stuff, they get very technical. But this kind of proves, if you take We Die Young, Man in the Box, and specifically It Ain't Like That, the chord in It Ain't Like That is the same chord they're chugging on in Man in the Box. It's just an E minor chord or a power chord, E5 chord. But the pull down on the Gino, come on.
Yeah.
It's so
brilliant. Rackley, listen to that one.
And the chorus isn't anything crazy. It's 4 chords. Nothing too special going on there either. But it's a class. It's a master class in the whole band working together to create something bigger.
And I think, if I remember, it said that the drummer was one of the writers on the music. That makes sense because the pocket on that, that feels
sick.
Part
so
of that.
Sick.
Yeah.
That little there's like a double bass hit leading up to a snare hit, and it's so good.
He's another one that's a secret weapon. We've talked about this with previous albums, like in Jar of Flies. Like, he is just, nobody talks about Sean as much as they should. And you hear that in a lot of stuff, like the song you were bringing up earlier, James, where you're talking about, CSR, when you really started to pick up on the different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like the way it's not, like you said, kind of pull back, but the way he strikes the bell of the ride during each part of the chorus, like it really draws your attention back to him. He has these little subtleties he does, and then he has these big explosions that he does that are pretty intricate and just the right fill, you're like, yes, nothing else would have worked as perfectly as that. Well done, sir.
Do you guys think that do we know who produced this? I'm sorry.
I don't have the book. Oh, you have the
Dave Jerden, Jerden.
No idea. But do you think the fact that like you hear like these perfect little like bits and pieces of each performer in certain songs that give them their own time, or like give them their own little place to sit where they can shine? Do you think that's to do with the production, or that's just the orchestration that the band has come up with?
Probably a little from column A, a little from column B. I think that this band is a very involved band that way. But I also think if you think about the early 90s, you have people kind of pushing their weight around with like producers. So maybe you have someone coming out of that, but you had a lot of do-it-yourself attitude out in Seattle. So I mean, it could be from column A and B. The producer could have said like, hey, let's get this in here, let's put that there. Who knows?
Yeah, gotcha.
Interesting.
Okay.
This would have been a band that would have been far, like Pantera did this a lot, Typo did it. There's several bands that had like a lot of videos they would release too, where it was like Guns N' Roses did it, making effing videos.
Yeah,
it would have been cool to see more like behind the scenes. Like Blind Melon's done that too, seeing them in the studio and seeing what the process was like, or what their personalities were like, or what was going on, what was the chemistry and the camaraderie while playing. It's always interesting to watch that stuff.
They had a home video. I have it on VHS.
See, I don't remember them.
Yeah, and then one, maybe two, but it's like black and white, and like Jerry is dressed as like an old woman.
I don't remember this. Yeah,
I vaguely remember that.
Somewhere. It's like what the hell is it? I'll tell you.
How do I not know this?
We got to talk to our producer over here. That's all right. To our recon team. Thanks. All right. What's this band called? I know what it's called. I don't know.
While you're doing that, the other two songs, the next one, Sunshine and Put You Down, have that very like late 80s metal sound. Did you get that vibe from those two songs when you listen to it?
I got like a real honky tonk vibe out of Sunshine.
Oh yeah. You
I didn't know if that was just me or not. Like a real country, like hard country rock kind of vibe in the verses for that song.
Right, but a metal twist on it. It has like that 80s kind of like echo chamber to it, you know?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I get that.
Honky Tonk. I do hear that now when I think about it. I can hear a little bit of that for
Okay.
sure.
That's all right. Okay. So they had the first one was live FaceLift, which is what I think the thing that Joe Fallon linked up was from.
Mm.
Which I have both of these on tapes. Man, they should make technology that lets you rip VHS to digital as easy as you can rip a CD. Because I don't want to get a VCR and all this nonsense. Just want to hold it up to my computer and it just copies it. And then the other one was released around the time of the three-legged dog record, and that was called the Nona tapes. And that's
that I do remember.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
these
remember
were
the other
studio
two.
VHS or just VHS releases in general?
The first one was just live with some intersplice stuff, and the second one I think was a combination.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
Well, correctly. I'm sure it's all on the. Oh, what is this? Why don't we have this, guys? This FaceLift box set. Do we know about this? Is this out already? Oh, this comes out on April 30th.
Hey,
now. I got a birthday. That's expensive.
I got to buy you like a cereal bowl cup thing. I can't afford anything else. I'm sorry, bro.
I'm cool. I'm totally gonna pre-order this. Anyway. All right, sorry. You know what? On Sunshine, because it was funny because James, you were talking about how hearing songs and songs. When I threw this on, I heard the Mother Love Bone song.
yes.
Was it Star Dog Champion, was it?
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
Huh.
It was that jangly openness.
Yep. Jangly openness. Perfect. Yeah. It is. Yeah. That is Mother Love Bone. All
James,
of
you
that.
should know that band. I know you're probably not super familiar, but you should check them out.
You
I
should check
hear
that
the
out
name.
too, Dylan. Dylan.
I hear the name used a lot, but I genuinely don't know anything about them. I imagine I
really?
know some of the songs, but I don't
So
know
it's-
I'm listening to them.
So it's Stone and Jeff from Pearl Jam, before Pearl Jam, and I forget who the other guys are, but it's Stone and Jeff, and then Andy Wood is singing. So it's like imagine Pearl Jam meets a glammy version of Guns N' Roses.
Huh.
So it's just a really
It's awesome.
It's a very different band than Pearl Jam turned out to be. It's a very different than Green River, which preceded it. But it just shows the brilliance of this Stone and Jeff combination that they could have three very different sounding groups.
Okay.
Check it
Yeah.
out. It's good stuff.
Cool. I'll check that out.
So I'm going to be super honest. After Sunshine, it kind of falls apart for me a little bit.
Well, I mean, yeah, Confusion put you down. I do like put you down a lot. I know you. I know something about you. That
You know a few things.
I did. Yeah.
I have things to say about I Know Something About You.
So this is, I think, what you and I started talking about a little bit today, and you told me the similarity that you found. And I was like, oh, I didn't even catch that until I went back today and listened to it. But I heard as if Ugly Kid Joe met early Faith No More and just collided. That was this song, and then you're like, hey, it's also such and such. I'm like, wait, what? And then I went and listened to that track, and I was blown away. I was like, holy crap, it is that track.
I heard a lot of Hillel Slovak, RHCP on that.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't sure if I was like hearing it wrong or if I was just making a connection, just like a broad generalization. But going back and listening to some of that material, I think I was pretty on point.
But you also heard Pantera.
Yeah. It's
That
like
was
Holiday.
Yeah. So play
And
those two together and you will be pleasantly surprised. Like, huh.
There was something that I wanted to add that I have in a lot of my notes for all of these songs individually, that even though I make these references and these correlations and whatnot, if the Alice in Chains thing happened after the source, I would find, like, if Psycho Holiday, I believe, was before this record. So if you were gonna, and the fact that Rob had mentioned earlier that they did tour with Pantera, so maybe there was like some sort of like paying homage to your heroes kind of a thing.
Could
Not
be.
sure. But I feel if they ever followed what I would have considered to be the source material, that they paid homage to it in a way that was completely respectful and expounded on it and made it their own and made it sound fresh. So if it was something that I heard that was like, that sounds a lot like that, at no point did it ever seem stale. It seemed like they had taken it and done their own thing with it to make it pay tribute to the people that inspired it and still make it theirs.
No, I got that vibe because as you said earlier, I mean, there's far more things in here that I didn't even catch, and I thought I caught a couple. I never felt like it was a ripoff. I never felt like, it didn't feel that way at all.
You hear inspiration, you don't hear copycat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great way to put that, James.
I try.
That's sir. You're on fire. In fuego.
Oh man, I could really go for some Takis.
It's because I was the fire starter the other day.
Who's a fire starter? I like that you said that part of his. I love that.
You know, it's unfortunate that I think
I feel like every time I'm starting shit, I feel like that's who I am.
Yeah, pretty much. But I feel like that would be a great album to do because I feel like that's a pretty solid album. That first project.
Praise the Lord.
Fat of the Land.
Fat of the Land.
Oh, Fat of the Land.
But I feel like there's not enough there because there's not a lot of lyrical content in that. That's a lot of instrumentals. It's not a very strong album to cover.
I watched a video on YouTube after what was his name? Keith, after he died, maybe a year after or right after, I can't remember. And they isolated just Firestarter. Oh no, it was Firestarter and maybe it was the whole album, but it was Firestarter, Smack Your Bitch Up, and Breathe with right. And like where the samples that they use to construct those songs, they're all samples. It's all samples of other songs compiled together to make those songs. And like at first you're like, no. And then like they isolate the and Breathe. And it's like, oh my God. And then they show you like the source at the proper tempo before they cut it and flipped it. And like the art of sampling on that record is freaking it's a masterclass in that.
It's up there with Paul's Boutique with
right.
Beastie Boys.
Yep.
Yeah, there's an art form to that. I think there's some people who get caught up in the cloud of like, it's just ripping off. But it depends on how you do it. Like, look at what's his name, Dave Grohl in that Sound City, talking about how Trent could use computers. Like, I wasn't really into it until like you watch him, and he makes it into such an art form. It's such its own musical instrument. Which you hear a lot of that when we did Downward Spiral. Like, there were so many samples on there. Like, what? That's from Texas Chains? What? That's from what? And it's amazing when they speed things down, flip it, rip it certain ways. It's like, damn.
It's the difference between somebody that uses the technology as a crutch versus uses the technology as a means to an end to get what you're looking for musically.
Again,
it's a palette. Yeah.
This is another example, I guess, of me complimenting someone by putting someone else down. But if you take, I'm Missing You by Puff Daddy, which is Every Breath You Take with a different lyric sang over it. That's not the same thing as taking the drums from one song, the bass of another, a vocal from something, and some random horn hit from the 60s and making a techno song out of it. Not the
but
same.
then there's other artists that have done it well, like Kanye West, who I'm not a huge fan of, but like he's done it with he's taken different samples of things and used it in such a way that you're like, oh man, this is a lot hookier the way he did that. Like, so that you're right. You can use it other ways. Yeah. Interesting. Prodigy would be a hard one. I have one more thing to say about the last track on here. Real thing. Cause you brought up the honky tonk, you brought up like some more of that, but like this one, I mean, did you guys hear a little bit of like George Thorogood in this? Like that high energy kind of bluesy boogie feel.
Which song are you talking about?
The last track, Real Thing.
That was one of the few I didn't have a lot of notes on, unfortunately. Like I
don't have a lot of notes. It's just I just heard again more that bluesy feel, which I think plays a lot into Jerry's influences, probably.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I personal preference. This record has 12 songs. They probably could have gotten away with 10.
I don't know how I feel about that.
You don't have to agree. It's fine. I'm just saying.
Well, no, because I respect your opinion. I'm just.
I
don't know that I ever got bored.
Not
or that I ever felt like it was
not bored. Just I'm sorry to interrupt you. I feel like so many of them are just complete like bombs, like just not in a negative way, like just fire. And then towards the end it just fizzles out a little bit. Maybe I just get fatigued. I'm not sure. It's hard to keep the interest of someone the entire time. Like if you take something like a Nails record, like there's a wave. This doesn't percolate.
It's a conglomerate. It's not like some of their other albums. It's almost like they took a bunch of different things that they had at the time. Like we need to put a record together, and it's not crapping on it. It doesn't flow the same way some of the other records do, or just records in general. So it is more of like James said at the very beginning, like a best of, but it's not really a best of because it's like these aren't like radio hits or very familiar things that are always played or things like that. It's just a conglomerate of just like here's a bunch of things that we've written. I'm just gonna
Right.
put it all together. And there you go. Ingest.
Out of we kind of skipped over some of the last couple songs, but out of my own curiosity, in the song Confusion, did anybody else in the precursor to in like the pre-chorus hear like bits and pieces of what would become Rooster?
I have to go
I have
back.
to listen. Yeah, I have to listen again.
Just something, food for thought. If you go
Yeah.
back and listen to that,
Very
like
possible.
it was something that I was listening
Possible.
to it. I was like, Rooster's not on this, but then like it's not that, but it's the same.
It
an
could have been
interesting
something that's been-
type of build.
Yeah, could have been
That
something
it
he's working
almost-
on forever.
Yeah, it almost seems like they recycled isn't the right word, but repurposed the riff for Rooster, and I think it's better implemented in Rooster, but I feel like there's definitely like some sort of connection there, or at least
Yeah.
that's what I heard.
You know, I want to listen because that makes me excited. I like the idea of when a band references themselves. Like, let's say you're putting something together and the bridge of your song, and you're the sole writer, you don't have to share anything, and you're like, the bridge in the song is cool, but then you have an idea for the next record to use that chord progression or that melody and make it its full potential. That's exciting to me because it's the
It's a sequel. Oh!
evolution of the idea. You know, so
Yeah.
often now, and I think all of us have recorded things to know that feeling that, okay, when you ship it out to get mastered and then it comes out to the world, it's done. But as a writer, is the work ever completely finished? Because when you play it live, you're going to do something different. And then like, you're going to go back and tweak it. These things are alive. So
Yeah.
I hope that I hear what you're talking about, because that's a really cool thing if that's the case.
I think you will. I found it very, very interesting. But you make a very, very good point for, I think, just anybody who's a musician and happens to be listening to this. That I feel like an artist's work is never done. That Rob and I have recorded how many songs together, and by the time we were done playing them live over the course of however many years, they were drastically different in some
I believe
cases.
Take on Everything is on every In Question album.
I believe it is as well. a lot of songs we recorded ended up on multiple albums, and I feel I should mention as well that is not an isolated incident, and that professional musicians do it as well. Devin Townsend has released Kingdom on 3 albums. He's released the song Truth on 4 albums. So this happens.
Yeah.
It's your material. Own it.
It was always fun to watch Coheed kind of that intro from Second Stage onward, how that kind of got injected in every single record for part of the Amory Wars, and watching that evolve and turn into different things and these segues and how they were able to build upon it and deconstruct it and rebuild it back up. It was very interesting I always got excited about that. As soon as that became a thing, you know, it evolved from that first. I was like, oh man, I really hope this continues down. And it did, you know, it was like a little overarching little thing in this story arc. Yeah, it was really cool. I loved it.
I think just like when you're thinking of music, this is off topic, but on topic, you know, from like a soundscape perspective and these particular motifs, if you're watching a movie or a series, you know, when the villain is there, they got a certain melody that's occurring, a motif while they're present on screen. It's controlling the vibe. If you watch something and mute it, you're not going to have the same experience if you hear these particular colors that they're painting with sound for these characters. So when you're talking in the space of a band, of putting a record together or a song, to see them continue to twist and work and weave that, you know, from, you know, one record to the 10th record, like that's awesome.
It's so cool. It is so cool. That's what makes live shows so amazing is and there's nothing against a band that plays a band or an artist that just plays as it is on the record, maybe some minor tweaks. But it's always fun to kind of see those surprises, whether it's the energy. Sometimes a band plays it very similar to what the album brings, but it's their personas and energy that make it part of the thing that you thrive and thirst for. Other times it's the energy on top of like, we're going to deconstruct this and we're going to end. I mean, Coheed was always known for doing that, like doing like these kind of like jam sessions in between like Everything Evil and some of their other songs. And you're just like, yes, let's do this, you know? So I just love that about live shows, you know?
I miss them.
I do too. Yeah.
Live
Good
shows
time,
are
brothers.
Yes.
What's that?
You both said you miss them. Do you miss live shows or do you miss Coheed?
Both.
Live shows.
There you go.
Both.
Oh, man.
That new song, the Travis record, that's I'm excited for that. It's a good song.
Zero Trust? Yeah. Very cool. He's playing bass.
Oh yeah? That's silly.
Interesting.
I guess. It's pretty cool.
It's not silly. I'm just being
I'm excited about it.
James, I bought a Firebird came. Neck has a crack in it. It's going back.
Sweetwater or
No, reverb.
oh,
Positive vibes only.
I got you. I'm sure it'll all be good.
Well, the guys are written back yet, so I'm not sure. All right, kids. So I think this
Try to be positive.
you know, in closing, those watching this present. Oh,
Take these off.
one of you just left. So those watching now presently, and those listening and what they're like, oh, Rob's about to get on his freaking soapbox again.
Oh, Grandpa's talking.
I'm out of here. In my day,
My day.
take our karate dollars and go to Nobody Beats the Wiz.
We all three of us did that.
Oh, we lost another one too. All right, time's up.
Oh. It was the Nobody Beats the Wiz comment. That's what did it.
All right, so Kim, Mrs. Winder,
Joan Macarons.
Dad, thanks for tuning in with us, guys. In the future, if you're hearing this record, us talk about it, listen to it. It's really good. And listen to this band. It's one of my top 5 favorite bands. 100%. Great band. Fun music to listen to. Fun music.
This is an interesting record, too.
Guitar, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool because a lot of people will be like, oh, well, I know the stuff on Dirt. Well, this is where it came from, you know? So it's cool to see the history.
It's a great origin story, how it begins, and hearing their stuff, and knowing that this band had a short legacy. They had a lot of albums with Lane, but they could have had more. Revisiting this album was a lot of fun because you got to hear a lot of different influences, a lot of different musicality that didn't show up in some of the other albums. So it feels almost like an afterthought, like, oh, we released this after Lane passed, but it's not. So it's an origin and kind of a nice finality to it as well.
Oh, Rackley, I'm sorry. I didn't say your name as well, brother. Thank you.
Honestly, you might listen to this album this week.
Dude, you gotta.
You should. You won't regret it.
We make record talk for you, Dylan, to give you the future and show you great music because you're a great musician and you can execute all this stuff, dude. So check it out. Learn the solos.
Learn it.
Send me a video of you playing one of these solos and I'll put it on the interweb, Graham.
Ooh.
All right, what do we got next week?
Ooh, the yeah. It's fever to tell, baby.
Ah.
You don't love me. Sorry. I know
That's the only song I know by them and their Immigrant Song cover, which is not on that album, but I'm just going to listen to the Immigrant Song cover the whole week and pretend it is.
Yeah, and what she did with the Wild Thing, Where the Wild Things Are, that Karen O and the Kids. Is that what it's called? Karen O and the Kids? Do you know what I'm talking about? She scored the music. I think she scored the music for Where the Wild Things Are with James Gandolfini doing the voice of one of the big monsters. You guys know what I'm talking about?
That sounds accurate. Yeah.
I know about it. I don't know that though.
A lot of people pooped on it because it's like, it's very different from the book. Like, yeah, well, obviously it's gonna be live action. It's gonna be very different from the book.
Yeah.
Books Illustrated.
You guys watch Justice League?
No, I have no faith, and I will refuse to pay any sort of money to the DC universe until they start doing their movies better.
Password. You're gonna watch.
Why? So I could waste 3 hours of my life? 4 hours of my life?
You're not gonna waste them. It's good. It's good.
Guys.
No, you're the only one that says it's good.
Guys, I got a problem.
What is it?
I don't think I can attend next week.
Why?
I'm just going to be watching the new Godzilla all day long.
I'm
probably going to call back from work. I'm just going to watch Godzilla over and over and over and over.
No. It doesn't.
Now I'll spend money on that.
It comes out
31st, baby.
31st.
I don't think so. I think it comes out this weekend.
Yes, it does. It comes out the 31st.
It's not true.
Guys, Record Talk is canceled next week. I'm sorry. We're all going to be watching Godzilla repeatedly.
Yeah, it's 31st. Are you confusing because are they trying to do a theatrical release with that one too? Is it not?
Wait, are you thinking the other time zone, Rob?
No, it's March 25th, 2021.
For the new Godzilla?
Yeah.
If it's out tomorrow,
It's out tomorrow.
My day changed.
Wait, why did I think it was the 31st too?
I thought it was the 31st.
Oh, great. Record Talk is down off the rails. Shit, I don't.
It can't be. It's funny. It can't be tomorrow. It can't be tomorrow.
No, you're right. It is internationally tomorrow, the 31st here.
Okay.
Damn it. I went to Jack. We were going to watch it this weekend. I'm so excited. You see the international trailer with Mecha Godzilla?
No, I stopped watching. At a certain point, I stopped watching it because I knew I was going to start doing things. It's like with Star Wars ones. Certain movies, I'm
they
like,
just show the back. You can't really see it at all. It just.
But I like to be surprised. It's like Mortal Kombat. I'm going to stop watching those trailers at some point because like they're going to start divulging way too much.
Yeah.
and I want to be surprised because I know that some of the complaints that you've had about it, rightfully so. I think that they're going to be pleasantly. Yeah, I think so.
You know,
the Kano thing, I don't know, but maybe.
I think you have to if you've been into Mortal Kombat for like the last 5 years, you're on easy street. Like you don't have all the years of history playing the games and like figuring out the story as the creators figured out the story to go off of. But if you're like a Mortal Kombat 1 player, like from day one, like I got a lot of complaints. I got a lot of issues. They have a long way to go to earn my respect. So
James froze in the funniest of faces.
Oh no.
I see you now.
You're back.
Oh.
You're okay.
Okay.
Dylan, Marvel is better than DC. Scorpion is better than Sub-Zero, and Godzilla would win.
Wait, you say Scorpion is better than Sub-Zero?
Yeah, fire beats water.
Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I stand with those who favor fire. Okay, all right.
Wow. We really did derail at this point now. Like we're way out there.
Godzilla versus Kong. I think they're going to make it a tie. I don't think there's going to be a winner. I think they're going to team up and they're going to defeat the other nemesis, which is what Rob ruined before.
Did I ruin it? You didn't know that?
No, I mean, for some people, they probably wouldn't figure that out. Maybe
it was on.
They've been alluding to it a lot more.
Dude, this first
trailers.
teaser trailer when they're like, he's attacking us. I don't know why Godzilla. We befriended him for the last 2 movies, and now he's being a dick. It's like, well, obviously it's not him. Obviously, like, come on, you got two brain cells to rub together. It's not him.
We need to make.
Did you not see the same teaser where they called him a dick?
A separate series where we take the visuals of movie trailers and just dub in like the real talk of it.
I told you about my idea for a show, another show we could do.
I know, but I don't want to
comedic.
live to spoil it.
You haven't seen Stranger Things, right, Rob?
No.
Is it just me, Brian, or do you want like at some point Millie Bobby Brown to just go like full blown 11 mode and into the Godzilla movies?
Expect
like
it to happen? Like
I kind of like want it to happen because I feel like that could change the game a little bit.
Yeah, my wife said that new movie she's in, Enola Holmes. Is that the one I'm saying right?
I didn't enjoy it.
Oh, you didn't enjoy it? She said it was pretty good.
I
like Sherlock Holmes, so I haven't seen it. I like that one, the BBC one with what's his name that plays Doctor Strange. Oh man.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benjamin. Jesus. Yeah,
I probably butchered his name a little bit too.
Benjamin. Benny.
I always think Benedict Cumberbatch, but that's like you wear one of those. That's not the same thing at all.
Yeah.
All right.
We're off the rails.
Okay. Well,
we're going yeahs next time. Thanks for hanging with us.
No, we're not. No one's doing anything next time because Godzilla's coming out.
All right, James is not coming here.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be here.
Maybe we can just live stream it and just watch. We'll have like a real life reaction to.
Yeah, get taken down permanently for airing.
Well, we won't show the movie. It'll just be our faces.
Us watching
the movie.
Yeah, that's how they do.
That's true.
And people watch that. Millions of views of watching someone watch something but not seeing what they're watching.
You know what though? I think those videos are doing a good thing. Because I think if you watch a reaction video, if you're somebody who's watching a reaction video for a vocalist, like a vocal coach watching Tool playing sober at the Reading Festival is a big one. If you got into that because you like Tool and you wanted to see somebody break down Maynard's performance, well, you might get a couple other videos that you might not have listened to, but you enjoyed the person who was reacting, their analysis of it, and that might bring you to watch something you might have normally avoided and then get into it as a result of that.
What happened to the heretic? What is happening?
Yeah,
James has found the silver lining and everything. Holy crap! Let's end it on that.
What strangers think about things. I want to form my own opinion.
Oh no, I completely agree with that as well. But case in point, like Devin was listening to a producer react to a bleed drum cam video, and he got into Meshuggah. Wow. That would never have happened.
All right,
gentlemen. Let's broaden our minds.
We'll see you next time.
Gentlemen.
Can we get a
ooh ah?